Hello, everyone. I'm Shazeeda Ali, and I'm delighted to share some of my most treasured memories of the Cambridge International Symposium on Economic Crime. Indeed, I consider myself to be somewhat of a symposium enthusiast, as it has had such a tremendous positive influence on me. But first, let me set the stage for my personal symposium journey. The year was 1997. The setting, the beautiful, historic, and awe-inspiring environs of Jesus College, Cambridge University. On a lovely September morning, I stepped through the ancient gates of the iconic Porter's Lodge entrance, and thus began my first encounter with the symposium, an exposure that would forever change my outlook and to some extent my life. At that time, I was a PhD student under the supervision of Professor Barry Ryder. I also had the privilege of being a member of the symposium secretariat, a position which allowed me to have an insider's view on the multiple processes required to produce a successful symposium. William Shakespeare famously said that all the world's a stage. In that case, the symposium may be likened to a grand West End production, because apart from the talented presenters, there's a need for directors, producers, set designers, and stagehands to ensure that everything is in place. Likewise, the symposium organizers and secretariat skillfully play multiple roles behind the scenes in the execution of similar critical functions. Back then, the plenary sessions were held at the Guildhall in the city centre, and I remember scuttling like a headless chicken between Jesus College and the Guildhall as I rushed to deliver printouts of presentations or guide delegates to the venues. It was certainly good exercise. But this was also the year I made my debut as a presenter. I was shy and reserved, and there I stood before hundreds of delegates, many experts in financial crime, and for me, potential critics. I knew it was a perfect opportunity for me to wet my feet as a public speaker, but it was both daunting and intimidating. As I rose to deliver my talk, I felt a surge of adrenaline and my heart began to pound with anxious anticipation. I soon settled into a groove, and by the time I reached my last slide, the sound of the applause not only filled me with a sense of satisfaction, but it opened my appetite for lecturing. Over the next 3 years, I returned to the symposium, and each presentation bolstered my confidence, so that on my return home to Jamaica, with my interest in lecturing peaked, I was motivated to join the Faculty of Law at the University of the West Indies and commence my career as an academic. Over the years, I have worn many different hats when I attended the symposium, and on each occasion, I have benefited immensely from the wealth of knowledge and expertise of others in attendance. For example, when I was working as a technical advisor and assistant attorney general in the Attorney General's chambers, I was involved in the formulation of the proposed Proceeds of Crime Act. The chance to learn from persons from jurisdictions that had recently enacted similar poker law was instrumental for me in the performance of this duty. More recently, in my capacity as Deputy Dean and now Dean of the Law Faculty at the UWI, the Cambridge Symposium has been a source of inspiration for the Mona Law Symposium on Law, Governance and Society, which is now in its 6th year, and likewise as a companion journal. Indeed, one of the key benefits of presenting at the Cambridge Symposium is the opportunity to develop one's presentations and publish them as articles in either the Journal of Financial Crime or the Journal of Money Laundering Control, both highly respected, peer-reviewed publications. A less academic but yet valuable reward for participation is the signature bronze medallion that is given to each speaker. I'm sure these gems are now a collector's item. Another keepsake for all in attendance is the memorable group photo taken on the lush lawns of Jesus College. One of the unique features of the symposium is the assembly of experts in financial crime who come from all across the world. For 1 week in September, Jesus College resembles the United Nations General Assembly as delegates representing every continent on earth and all the islands in between congregate to share ideas. These delegates come from academia, law enforcement, public service, the financial industry, and every other group that is either actively involved or simply interested in combating financial crime. The vast, almost all-encompassing range of topics within the genre of economic crime that have been covered during the more than 3.5 decades of the symposium is reflected in the provocative themes each year, like the wealth of nations at risk and the price of crime. Those are some teaser headlines. And in keeping with these exciting themes, I've been fortunate to participate in panels covering the offshore financial sector, the impact of developmental changes in the Caribbean, as well as the influence of the FATF in its 40-year history. I've also found it helpful to participate in workshops looking at the abuse of banks and establishing FIUs in developing countries. Overall, for researchers, the symposium is a living laboratory where you can learn from real-world subjects. For investigators, prosecutors, and others in the battlefield, it is a chance to form alliances and increase information sharing networks. If you're a policymaker, it provides an opportunity to inform proposed legislation with the experiences shared by other countries. The symposium presents many opportunities to gain insight into an important area of the law or practice, whether by attending the sessions, participating in the workshops, or simply chatting over a coffee during the breaks. Evening cocktails in the marquee are also conducive to a more relaxed and informal forum for the exchange of ideas. Mealtime in Upper Hall is another unforgettable experience. Dinners are a formal occasion with many toasts and speeches, but always a delectable dining symphony composed by the Jesus College chef. I can't forget how intrigued I was when I first saw fried brie on the menu, which surprisingly turned out to be rather pleasing to my palate. With its many scenes and facets, neatly and seamlessly interwoven, a single day in the symposium represents a canvas for teaching and learning, research and writing, and perhaps most importantly, forging lifelong friendships. If I could, I would make it an annual pilgrimage to go to Cambridge to attend the symposium. But family and work commitments sometimes prevent me from doing so each year. However, whenever I can return, I do so with much enthusiasm, as I know that an intellectual feast awaits. I also look forward to a mini reunion with far-flung friends whose common bond remains an insatiable thirst for knowledge in this highly specialized yet underappreciated area of the law. So even though we can't meet in Cambridge this year, please continue to stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you in 2021.